set up a time to meet prior to when we start. When you show up 3 minutes before you start,
I was here. I was trying to get this thing situated. It sucks.
I show up typically an hour before the show.
Yeah, tell the people why their time is invaluable.
I just spent the last 45 seconds trying to figure out how to get the comments off the screen.
How did I turned them on? I didn't know. Joe said he liked it. Joe said he liked it. We said we were going to keep it on until Bill got here.
Oh, let's why don't we ask the people in the chat?
Do you want to see the comments?
Do you want to see the comments? Well, who's going to be over there? Somebody talk. There you go.
There we go. You can see the comments.
That's really small to me.
Is it?
I am, Justin.
And I think it's stupid that you can't move them. Like, you should be able to put them on someone's face if you wanted to, you know, like just drag them right over someone, but it doesn't let you. I don't understand.
Randy Ravioli, he had a party at his house last weekend.
Oh, but why?
His mom was out of town.
Yeah, his mom was out of town. And I heard that, like, strippers, it was wild, dude. I heard it was pretty wild.
Randy's usually not here anymore in the beginning of the show.
Well, he's here now because Misfits isn't on anymore, bro.
Yeah.
See, he chose Misfits, but then he came back. We're like sloppy seconds.
Sloppy seconds. So were you chilling with Dustin or something? Because he had a feeling you were going to be late. So I kind of feel like there was something going on there.
I was sending a poop chat.
Yeah, Adam ran to the bathroom 30 seconds before the show and said he'll be right back. He's got to take a shit. Something's wrong. And then he fucking left.
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Randy had to have his pimp hand strong. Exactly, bro. His pimp hand is one of those hands that you hold with your real hand, but it's giant. He's like, bitch.
I should show you guys. I don't know. Never mind. I'm not gonna show you.
So, like, I was doing the math right now. I think it's been like at least 3 weeks to a month since I've been on this show. And it's definitely been a month plus since I've done a live stream on my channel.
So you're kind of the person who's breaking up the band. I have a feeling.
Whatever.
No. If anybody, it's the person to the side in the blue shirt or wherever you're at over there.
What am I doing? I show up whenever.
You just don't communicate.
Yeah, I've been, during the day I'm like trying to work and stuff.
I get it. That's all.
But and then my problem is it's like staring at a computer all day, then I zone out and I don't want to,
Dude, if I had to stare at a computer all day long, yeah, man, I'd throw my shit in the dumpster when I turn that computer off. Like, just fucking, I'm done with it for the week and I don't want to hear a phone, see a screen.
Speaking of staring at computers all day, Dustin has been creating this like website slash app. Have you seen it?
Seeing it, yeah, in the chat, dude.
Is it working yet, Dustin? It's like works and then he touches something and then it breaks and then he fixes it, but it's pretty cool.
What's it like? What's it do?
So I hope I get this right. He's gonna make it so, like, all right, so if you figure out, it's gonna give you guidance on what filter you should use for your system. Yeah, and then like based on your pressure drop and everything, and then there's gonna be links in there. So you click the link and it will tell you different brands with that pressure drop that will work.
Oh, no way. That's a lot of information, filters you got to have in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Now there's like a dehumidifier sizing thing.
Oh, cool.
There is like a load calc thing. He's got all different like windows.
You need to set up affiliate links right? So the links and people click the affiliate links, and then you market to
Alex.
all the residential customers that have all the big box companies come and quote them information, and then you can just be the second source that people come to. You know, like how we talked about we originally, like, one of our brain ideas, that go ahead and steal this if you guys want to, but was to create a YouTube channel, homeowner facing, but by true HVAC techs that's just giving honest information, so that way they have an honest place to go to.
Speaking of which,
go ahead.
Have you ever seen that YouTuber DIY HVAC guy?
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
I just saw, like, his video got recommended to me the first time. Somebody was telling me about him. Like, are you talking about Ted?
No, yeah. He's actually got quite a few subs, like a lot of people that watch his stuff, but it's not technician based. It's homeowner based kind of stuff, which is fine. I mean, good for him, you know?
So. Yeah, when it comes to homeowner, it just gives me heebie-jeebies. I don't know. Don't like it. Don't like showing homeowner shit. But anyways, I digress.
What is the I don't know what Chipmunk's saying. Chris, what does this have to do with the instructional video? I don't know what you mean by that.
Instructional video?
Did I? I don't know. It might be a reference to something I said. I say stuff and I can't remember it.
Tyler, I had a customer today tell me his furnace is both up and down flow. He also apparently works on 150-ton IntelliPacks. Yet asked me what tonnage his AC was, that pressure his system should be at. Oh man!
Now, one thing he could have been mentioning is there's certain, obviously you guys know this, certain furnaces you could flip in all directions.
Sure, I thought he was
directional.
Yeah, they're called convertible, right?
It swings both ways.
It swings
it's from California. Got it. Cool, understood.
Cali furnace.
How come you don't install heat pumps? Because our units can be heat pumps or gas heat, man. They swing both ways. That's going to be my answer from now on when everybody asks me why every unit's not a heat pump. I'll be like, they swing both ways.
Yes.
Bill's mom is in here, but Bill is not in here.
Yeah, I don't understand where Bill is.
I think it's probably on purpose. She knows that Bill couldn't make it, so she's filling his spot.
Oh, okay. Chipmunk's saying it's a comment by someone on my video yesterday. Got it. Oh. Yeah, dude. I don't read into those comments very much, man. I mean, I read them, but I don't let them offend me.
You don't read them. Let's be honest. Bill reads them and responds to them.
No, actually, my last video, because it was like blowing up, I read every comment, and then it was funny though, because then I found myself going back to read the comments, and I'm like, oh, the comments stopped, because I always look for new comments. I don't look for the old ones, so that way I only see what's new. And I'm like, oh, the comments stopped. Oh, okay. I guess the video is just kind of dying off. And then like 10 minutes later, I go, wait a minute. And I go in there and I can tell if Bill is the person interacting. Yeah, Bill had just been interacting with a crap ton of my comments. So Bill, spoiler alert, if you guys don't know, Bill, see if you guys, that's a cool test. Yeah. Okay, so watch any one of my videos, go into the comments and tell me if you think the person responding is Bill Russell or me. Because Bill responds as me. It says HVACR videos. So
you never know who's logged in. But usually if it's Bill, he'll be like,
usually Bill
HVAC guy was the inspiration for all of my videos and knowledge.
Exactly. Bill, he always sends me these comments. When he leaves something snarky or witty, he'll like text it to me. Look at this one, bro.
He posts a few of them, yeah.
Yeah. No, but like I interact a lot too. So it's a pretty equal distance between both of us, or pretty equal, whatever.
So how's your knee, bud?
My knee is messed up. It sucks, dude. I was at work. So here's the thing. I realized that I'm the problem. Okay. And I'm going to tell you this with that. I'm the problem. Okay. It's me. No, about 6 months ago, I had an apprentice and we were at the dump pulling a refrigerator out of our trailer. And my dogs are just like barging into my room right here. We were pulling a refrigerator out of my trailer. It was a big, tall one. I had lifted it up and I told him to get onto the other side to make sure it didn't kick out. And so he went to the other side and it kicked out and he just moved out of the way. And the fucking refrigerator fell on my pants and ripped my pants. And I got pissed. I went off on him, right? Whatever. So life happens. It just happened again the other day with a different apprentice. And it dawned on me right when it happened. Same freezer, but just at a different location. I went to go pick it up because we had to lean it to get it out of their door. So it wouldn't fit out the door, so we leaned it on its side. And when we leaned it on its side, I said, okay, I'm lifting this up. I said, in a minute, it's going to catch the wheels on the bottom of the refrigerator and you have to keep it from kicking out. Right. And so the apprentice was right there, and it kicked out and it hit him, like kind of pushed him, and it smashed me on my knee. And I was like, oh shit. But then at that moment, I realized that I'm the person because I'm not giving clear instructions. I'm not making sure that they understand everything that I'm saying. You know, when I tell them to go do something, get out of my office. You're sneezing. You're going to give me dog herpes. Go. Dog herpes.
Yeah. When it comes to safety and apprentices that are really like green, you really got to be precise.
So I am so fortunate that it hit a ½ inch before my kneecap. Because if that would have smashed me on my kneecap, I probably would have been not walking today. So
is that like a current picture, or was that right after it happened?
That was right after it happened.
Hey,
and then this is today. So it's swelling up all on the sides and stuff. But I can walk. It just hurts when I kneel on it.
Were you sitting on the toilet when you took that picture?
No, I was sitting right here in my office, and I put my leg up like this, and I said, there you go. Hurrah. Karate chop.
Nice.
So yeah, I realized though that like I'm not giving proper instruction, you know, so that way people can understand exactly what I mean. Because, and I think it might have something to do with the spectrum crap or whatever, but like I assume that people are on my wavelength.
Clear
like,
in your head.
Yeah, it's perfectly clear. And then when I say things, I expect that you understand everything that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why is it showing comments in 2 places now?
Is it?
Because Joe's hitting the freaking button. Stop fingering
Stop
it, Joe.
sharing it. We already have them on the thing.
Oh, so we don't have to share it? You don't want to?
No, it's right there.
All right.
I mean, we could turn this off.
I don't know if everyone could see that.
There. Okay, so now we turn that
off.
off. Now you can share them. There you go.
Oh, yeah, turn that off.
So I hung out with TY Banana Man this week.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, straight. Didn't you guys take a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was a nice picture.
Oh, that's right. I appreciated that you guys were both wearing my hat. That was a nice picture.
We're like brothers.
You're like brothers. I sent Ty a bunch of those hats because he says he likes them. So I was like, here you go, bud. And I sent him like 5 or 6 or something.
So Ty's little dog, Chica.
Right?
Chica.
Yeah.
He has a camper that he was traveling in, and I had him meet at him and his wife at a restaurant. And it was a pretty nice night. So they left the dog. If it was really hot, they have a camper. And the camper, they'll turn the air conditioning on there, but it was really nice. So he left the windows cracked. He left the windows cracked in the truck, the dog in the front of the truck, a bowl of food, and a bowl of water in the truck. And then he left a sign in the window saying, the dog has food, the dog has water, the dog is safe. If there's any issues, call my cell phone. And I think what happened was all of a sudden his phone rang or something happened. He's got a video in his car too. So he could watch, he like sits there and watches the dog as we eat dinner. And somebody called the cops.
Oh my God, man.
So the cops show up. And,
yeah, you're right, House. You're right. But so someone called the cops, and so they showed up when you were eating dinner, so it turned into a whole debacle.
Ty like sprinted out to the
yeah, they don't break his fucking windows.
And he was like explaining to the cop, and the cop is like, he's like, well, obviously the guy whoever called the cops didn't read your window.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Have you seen the ones where it's the wife and she puts that on the door because she's inside shopping and it's the husband sitting in the car? So it says the same thing. He has water. He has air conditioning. He's fine. And then it's the husband sitting there.
I bet you his dog like is more pampered than some humans. Treated way better.
Oh, that dog has it made.
No kidding.
Who's this?
I hate that we live in that type of world now. Yeah, I get dogs overheated, etc. But I know, tell me about it, Mike. The whole world.
Mike, there's a lot of it, man. With like everybody takes things. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's insane.
Like, if a kid's gonna die, I mean, if the air conditioner's not on, the car's not running. Yes, clearly, there's we got to do something. But people just spaz too much.
Well, Ty brought up. He's like, it went from being like years ago. It's like you can't leave your dog in a hot car. And now it's kind of like you can't leave your dog in a car.
Well, the other day, and here's the thing though too. Like, I'm a big rule follower. If there's a rule, we follow it or we change the rules, right? So I was working at a restaurant the other day, and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's a family walking in that's got a freaking bulldog. and they're just getting ready to walk into the restaurant. And I'm like, you can't bring the fucking dog into the restaurant. But these days, nobody gives a shit. And I mean, I guess it doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit. It's just a rule.
I actually started calling around. I started calling restaurants to see if I could find one that would allow Ty's dog to come in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And they said only a service dog could come in the restaurant. So you need one of those special fancy.
But here's the thing. You can get away with that. So the point that I'm making is I don't care if there's dogs in a restaurant. It's just that's the rules. So I get embarrassed when people make a spectacle. Like if they try to sneak a dog in and then it makes a scene and it's like, okay, let's not do that, you know? But we went to a restaurant with Ty that he took his dog to and we took our dog to. And they have an outdoor patio. It's part of the restaurant. They open up all the doors and my dog and his dog Chico were hanging out, you know? So yeah.
How'd you guys get in this subject here?
We were talking about Ty. You missed the story that Adam went to dinner with Ty and the cops got called because Chico was in the car.
Oh, Ty's dog was in the car?
But tell him what had happened though, Adam, because like there was a whole elaborate thing.
Yeah, so Ty, like it was nice out. So Ty and his wife left the dog in the front of the truck. They left the windows a little bit down. They left like food and water in the truck for the dog. They have a live camera in the truck so they could monitor the dog. And then they left the sign on the window saying the dog is okay. It has food and water. We watch him with a video camera. If there's an issue for whatever reason, call my cell phone. And somebody didn't call the cell phone. They just went straight and called the cops.
Yeah. And I bet you they were not too far away, probably recording when the cops showed up.
Probably.
Just to try to get some sort of viral video on it.
Maybe.
You know,
good point.
Ty is possibly coming to see me this weekend.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, he might come over Sunday and hang out with me.
Interesting thing, Hausch. I don't know how it is in other states, but in California, you can't ask someone to prove that their dog is a service dog. It's against the law. It's like a discrimination thing.
God.
So
to the dog,
all you have to, it is. So all you have to do is say it's an emotional support dog. And they say, well, let me see your paperwork. And you're like, no, I don't have to show you that.
I'm pretty sure like people do that everywhere too.
Yeah.
Show me your paperwork. Like, no, prove that.
I think that the rules for the most part should be changed. I mean, they can refuse service to people, so they can refuse service to a fucking dickhead dog. Like, why don't they let dogs come into places? Like, I don't understand.
I would be kind of annoyed, like if I'm at a restaurant and a dog starts barking that's next to me or whatever, or the dog is like all of a sudden takes a big fat steamer right next to the table.
I think the idea is that the dog's not going to come into every goddamn restaurant, but like you've got a bar. I mean, that's kind of outdoor or whatever. Like, why isn't it acceptable to bring a dog into a place like that? Like, but the problem is that nobody can operate using what we call common sense. Everybody is like one extreme or the other. So it's like, oh, we're going to start letting this. So then everybody abuses that, you know, and just makes it ridiculous. Someone starts bringing, I mean, come on. I'm sorry, but in this day and age, you do not need an emotional support parrot on an airplane. That's fucking bullshit. That's people bring the weirdest shit on planes just to fucking do it, dude. And they're like, this is my emotional support fucking giraffe. So yeah, emotional support.
Chris needs some sort of emotional support animal. He's fired up tonight, I see.
Yeah.
Are you?
Hausch says dogs probably not allowed to be in most restaurants. You can see places that allow it, but yeah, like I mean, you're not going to take him into a fancy restaurant where you're dressed up, but I can also see like a husky that's shedding, fucking shaking, and then there's dog hair blowing everywhere. That would ruin my meal. That would fucking, I'd be like, yeah, I'm out. So
yeah, well, I guess. I mean, yeah, people are getting more. Am I echoey again?
No.
Echoey? I feel like I sound echoey.
No.
If you think about it, though, back in the day, people just didn't give a crap about anything. You know, think about the smoking sections at restaurants. It was wild because it's like this half of the restaurant's smoking and this half is not smoking, and there's like a 5-foot tall piece of glass that separates the booths. And you're sitting.
I have good.
They wouldn't even have that. They wouldn't have dividers.
So I think it's
Bob Evans. They'd have a divider that's like that big above the table, or the Coney Islands. They have a divider like that. Like you could peek over the top. You're like, hey, you smoking over there?
Yeah.
Like that was it.
I think it's funny because I still have restaurants that were built in the early 80s. So they're still set up for smoking, non-smoking. And it's like you can go through little things in the restaurant. Like if you go into the office and you look at their thermostats, the original labeling said smoking, non-smoking. And some of those restaurants is still there. Or you open up an electrical panel and you're like smoking AC, you know? And it's like, oh, fuck, I forgot about that. Yeah, they used to.
Ashtrays at McDonald's, like that still blows my mind. Like taking your kids in there and they're just eating a Happy Meal and you're just fucking puff away on a pack of Reds.
I mean, dude, you go back to the magazine ads in the, was it 50s? When it would be the doctor saying smoke this brand of cigarettes recommended by, you know, the American surgeon or whatever fucking shit.
That is true.
It's
There
wild,
was a
dude.
Flintstones commercial about cigarettes.
I wouldn't surprise me. Was it fucking Virginia Slims or something like that?
No, I don't remember the brand, but it was Fred and Barney just talking about smokes and like it was, and it's a legit, you know, it's not AI because I saw this long before AI was really a thing.
The AI stuff is
you guys get
funny,
around
like
to talking about that guy who
not yet. I got a picture ready to pull up when you want to go.
Sweet. I'm ready whenever you guys are.
All right, I'm gonna put it up right now.
Am I echoey still?
No.
Nope.
I don't know what these buttons do.
Or
It doesn't even.
like high 3, high 4.
Wait, how about we not push buttons until we're ready to do button pushing time?
No,
and then you don't.
I don't tell you how to do your job. You don't tell me how to do my job.
Fucking button pusher extraordinaire.
This is not button pushing time, Adam.
Is Adam eating soup also while we're doing this thing?
Right.
No, this is frozen. They're not really frozen anymore, but frozen berries.
Oh yeah. All right, so check this dude out. Tell us a story about this, Bill.
Yeah, so I just know the vague sort of story, but apparently, long story short, this guy was working at a Kroger on a cooler of some sort, and it developed a leak, I guess. And the story goes is that he tried to stop the leak with his hands because there was customers around, and like the way they made the story play out, at least the article that I read, they were trying to play him off as being a hero. He was saving the people because they were getting sprayed by a banned refrigerant, banned R22.
Well, okay, first off, let me step in and say I don't think I agree with where you're going a little bit here, Bill, but also it was a horribly written article with very bad misinformation. That's not the guy. That was the stupid dumbass reporter that wrote this. They had no fucking research.
Well, can we pull up the article and actually quote some of it?
Sure, go ahead. See if you can find it.
You think Captain Nubs there could write that article?
Good point. Not pushing buttons, or he's not
I
writing.
mean, maybe talk to text. He told us, but dude got $77 million from a Kroger. Apparently, you know, it was just this thing just came out in the news, I guess, just recently. But he's from Michigan, so that's why it kind of popped up in my algorithm.
So 77 million, guys. Would you do it? That's what we were talking about.
Well,
like,
first off,
I don't see any situation where Kroger, I guess, would be liable for this. I guess I mean, I don't see it.
So workers' compensation insurance here, I'm assuming it's the same everywhere, but here in California, workers' compensation insurance, the official stance is that it's there to protect the worker, but it's an insurance we obviously pay for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we recently went through a workers' comp claim. And the first thing that we got when we got the letter, basically the lawsuit, is workers' comp is not here to give the plaintiff or whatever the fuck the person that got hurt is a windfall. Basically, they just said out the front, this isn't like his payday. This is just to help them. So $77 million. But the thing is, that wasn't a workers' comp payout. That was a lawsuit agreed for by a jury. How the fuck does a jury award $77 million?
Listen, I want to move I'd cut off my own fingers for $77 million.
Fuck that, dude. That guy,
do all of them.
That guy can't he can't do anything. He fucking lost all the important fingers.
I mean, he's got 5 fingers left.
You could hire.
You say it like he has a fucking hand left. Both of his hands are fucked. One of them he's got no use.
The one he's got a thumb.
Did you guys ever watch the show Sons of Anarchy?
Like, look at that.
Yeah, one has no. Sorry.
There's a compulsive masturbator on Sons of Anarchy, right? And they send him off to go
They're done that.
help. Yeah, they send him off to go help the Chinese, and then the Chinese send him back with only fucking index fingers because he's an accountant, right? And so he just fucking, this is all he has for the rest of the show is 2 fucking fingers so he can push buttons.
But dude, if he had 77 million bucks, dude, like I don't know, I get it'd be hard to pull your wallet out and show everybody how much money you got, but
He does have 2 thumbs still.
How's he gonna hold the money, dude?
The article is
It
so
says his
misleading.
name.
His hands were injected with toxic.
Why would they say his name? I feel bad for the guy. I'm not mad at the guy. This sucks. This really does suck. I bet
this is a great opportunity for us. I think we can get him on the show and interview him.
Yep.
No, he's still in the middle. He's gonna be locked up in appeals for the next 5 years. He can't talk about this on social media.
You know, it's like they're using all the buzzwords. EPA had banned this refrigerant, and
probably
also,
AI, dude.
How is his?
Maybe.
Or his hands injected with toxic?
Yeah, and they made it sound like, again, I'm not saying no. I feel for the dude. That sucks. Like I'm making fun of the article and the fucking situation, right? But the article says that he was saving the customers from the toxic substance. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not good to breathe that shit, but it's not like fucking chlorine gas that was going to fucking take him out, or ammonia. You know,
ammonia.
Run.
Yeah,
like, get everybody out of there. Like, but one thing that I read though is that as he was trying to like save everybody, his hands got frozen to it, and he couldn't like pull them off, I guess.
And don't get me wrong, I would have. Again, I don't want to make it sound like I don't have compassion. Like I totally feel for the dude. No, I feel for the dude.
I've burned myself with refrigerant because like I'll pop a Schrader core out, and then I've tried to like get the Schrader core back in there, but I gave up real fast. I'm like, this is stupid. Fuck it.
But
fuck the world.
Here, your hands can get stuck. Let's talk about a scenario where that can happen. If you have wet hands or it's a wet situation and all of a sudden refrigerant starts blowing over, your hands.
Well, he's basically dumping the rack at this point because he was outside at a case. It wasn't like he was in the rack room, I don't think. The way, at least the article, the way it was written, he was out at a case. Something happened and it dumped the charge, and he was probably panicked, because I've done it too where you panic, but then I kick in and say, fuck it. It's just refrigerant. Back the fuck away.
I mean, it definitely wasn't. He wasn't injected from it.
No,
there's no hands have to like be, your hands have to be on there. I feel like for so long to get that bad. I don't know. Like, I'm not a scientist, if you guys didn't know, but like, and if they got froze on there, I can see like maybe that's why they got so bad. But like, they just melted his fucking fingers off.
Yeah, if it got frozen on there and it's a rack, think about how much refrigerant, the volume that has to be before it stops. So it's just wouldn't you just be like ripping your hands like off there like instantaneously? Like, what
dude, this is all happening so fast though. Like I feel like this sucks. But here's the thing. I bet you he doesn't see 20 million. By the time this is done, I bet you he doesn't even see 20 million, because the 77 million, they're going to appeal that. It's going to get,
and the lawyer gets 30% or whatever.
Yeah, I bet you he doesn't even get 20 million, which sucks, because I mean, that whole point of that is that this is to help him. Now, the next question is again, not criticizing, but like, where did they get the $77 million number? Because there's no way in his life he's going to make $77 million.
Exactly. That's what they show in courts over here. Are you going to make that much?
This is the negligence. They said Kroger does not have any maintenance, repair, inspection records for the equipment, despite having legal obligation to do so, and only produced a partial incident report.
Okay, so answer me this: how would an inspection report help this situation? That's the technician that would be fixing it.
Yeah, if he's there to do maintenance and repairs on it.
Yeah,
like tell him to go back.
Inspection reports bullshit. Don't get me wrong. There's something here, but I don't know. There's two sides to this. There's the business owner that's thinking like, fuck, if this happened to me, like, holy fuck.
And was he a Kroger technician, or was he an outside contractor? Do we know?
Hard to say.
I didn't see that anywhere in the articles that I read. Like, if he works for Kroger, like maybe there's something to it, because maybe they didn't provide him the right training. I don't know.
I genuinely wish, but we couldn't even in good conscience have him on, but I wish we could, because no, we can't, dude, because he would end up saying something that would fuck him. He doesn't need to. This isn't something he can talk about on social media. Yeah, dude.
Why is our screen all jacked up?
What's jacked up about it?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
I just need to remove that freaking hand thing. But yeah, that sucks, man. But I just had an apprentice. I had an apprentice do it accidentally. I had him again, me not being clear. He was putting the side of a Lennox unit back together, and I said, put the screws into it. And you know, I didn't stand there, and the panel started to fall and the screw was at an angle. So he continued to drive it in with the impact, and it drove it up into a thing, and it popped. And he just kind of like that. You should have seen I heard the noise, and I look over from across the roof, and the look on his face was like, dude, he thought I was going to fire him. And I was like, no, man, like, chill out.
Made him put his finger on there.
We're going to learn from this. But I said, you're fine. Like, it's okay. You know,
and then finger, hurry up.
Yeah. But then I showed him, and then we repaired it together, and, you know, all was good. And I just told him, I was like, I didn't give you clear enough direction for me to be upset with you for what happened there, you know, like, and then so I explained it to him. And then I took that as a teaching point. Was today we were also taking panels off again, and we went over it again, side of the condenser. You know, here's what we did last time. I didn't lift this, and this is why. And this is, you know, we're looking around, because that's something that I don't think we do with apprentices, or at least me, enough. Is I assume that they're on my wavelength a lot. And it's like, no, I need to
forget what it's like to be new.
Yeah. You know, and yeah, it was 10 pounds R22. That was expensive, but he's not hurt. We're safe. And we repaired it, and we didn't charge the customer. Like, you know, we took care of it.
Do you think, kind of going back to that article there, do you think stuff like that is going to open up the floodgates of like all these R290s and flammable refrigerants that are in systems now? Like, I feel like it's only a matter of time till somebody catches themselves on fire and they're like, I need $77 million because I burned all the hair off my arms.
So there's two ways to look at this, or two ways that I think about this. Is number one, I work on R290 stuff every day. It's not a big deal. Like, you just do your thing, right? But number two, I also see the other side, and I'm just at the point where I realize I have to fix this stuff, so I just deal with it. But I'd rather it not be flammable, you know, of course. But I mean, I say it's not a big deal just because I have to deal with it.
So my question is, I don't think I've seen a video with the amount of R290 in, you know, what is the max amount? It's ounces, right?
Yeah, I forget.
6 ounces or 8 ounces?
500 right now.
500 ounces?
No, sorry, grams. It's 500 grams. I believe. Oh, no. They lifted it. They lifted it.
800 grams.
Yeah, it's higher now, because, and there's different stipulations. If it's an open case in a supermarket, it can have more charge. Like, there's different things. So, but it's still less than a pound.
Yeah,
still less than a
pound. Not to really do anything, I don't think.
So
interestingly enough, I'm sorry, the efficiency of R290, what you can do with such a 500 ounce or 500 grams is 5.67 ounces, dude. They can do so much refrigeration with that. It's rather wild.
It was such a pain in the ass to charge those little R290 systems.
Again, I'm going to go say that I'm just so used to it. We were just having this discussion because we have a couple bottles that only start out with 14 ounces. So by the time you charge in 5.5 ounces or whatever, it's hard to get the rest of that out. Well, we save it, because if you do the math, R290 is more expensive than R22. When you look at per pound, R290 is more expensive than 22, and it's fucking stupid. Wow. Why?
What do you save it for? What are you going to do with it?
Oh, we save it and then we'll utilize it. So what we'll do is we'll take a two giant pans. We'll reuse it. We'll use it in the system. I'll get that extra gas out of the can.
But how?
Well, this is what I'm saying. We'll get a large pan. You fill it with super hot water. You put a heavy pan on top of it. You submerge the can in that 100-degree water. Hook the hose up to it. You drive up the system pressure. You can get the 6 ounces out of the can.
Like completely dry. Cool.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Because you're going to drive it. You got to be careful because you're driving up the pressure of a flammable refrigerant, but
of course
it's better than taking a MAP gas torch to it and heating it up.
Right.
Heat producing device.
I was going to wait to see if you were going to bring out a recovery machine and pump it in there.
There's a freaking recovery machine. Is it Appian? Yeah, I think Appian came out with one that's A3. You can recover R290 with. I'm like, no. Now,
explosion proof.
I guess it doesn't have. It's probably, well, if Appian already uses plastic parts for their compressor. It's if you ever rebuild one of their G5 or G7 recovery machines or whatever, it has like plastic parts in it that are the pistons. So I could see that work, and I think they probably just like tightened up the electrical motor and stuff.
Gross.
They make
the point I was trying to make is I want to know, with the max allowable refrigerant, how big of a boom would that make?
He is using it.
That's a good
Well,
question.
first off,
Assuming like
I don't think that you can. I don't think that
it.
it can be explained as easy as you think because there's other components in it. So the explosion has to go through certain things to even happen. It's not like just lighting gas vapor.
No, but let's say we took the ideal explosion. Like, how much oxygen would we need for that? Like, if you have an X amount of R290, you'll need an X amount of oxygen to even get
or lack thereof. Yeah.
So yeah, so let's say you have like a true cooler, right? And it's a true like 2 or 3 door cooler, and you just took whatever charge of R290 was, and you dumped it in the open air in that cooler, and then you had like a remote sparker and just hit a spark.
Oh, it's a decent amount in an enclosed space. I mean, but assuming that you have the right conditions, it'd be a decent amount.
Does it on all of his live streams with his woofler.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. Like in an enclosed and hermetically sealed refrigeration system, an explosion isn't what people think it is. Now, here's where I see bad things happening with R290. That's a truly highly flammable refrigerant is with a terminal vent. A terminal vent that is caused because the relay that's on the, let's just say a small compressor that has a current sensing relay on it. Those current sensing relays can have loose connections.
What's a terminal vent? Explain that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have a current sensing relay that's attached to the side of the compressor and it has a loose connection, it's going to melt and it's going to heat up that terminal, and that can blow out. The molten metal will blow the terminal out. So you'll have the spark. And if it hits it just right, the flamethrower that comes out the side, I think is going to be the biggest thing. It's not going to be a boom. It's just going to be a flame.
Wouldn't you have to like also it'd have to have the right amount of like oxygen mixing with it as it's escaping?
Sure. Now, what we have seen is, we'll see working on 410 or even 404A systems, you can see fires like flamethrowers coming out of the unit, but it's refrigerant vapor hitting the oil that ignites, that hits just at the right thing that it creates a flame out.
Yeah.
And you'll see that. I mean, that's with 410. 410 has R32 in it. But even then you'll see it with 404 too and other ones. So I'm not saying that it won't happen, but it's not going to be the traditional kaboom. That one thing
disappointing.
I made a video a while back where it's probably 5 or 6 years ago, where I took an R290 compressor or system, brand new refrigerator, and I took all the refrigerant out, put 134 in it, did a bunch of tests because a lot of people said you can just drop in 134. I proved that you couldn't.
Do you remember that dude who came on our show? From Vegas?
Completely off the subject.
Oh yeah,
that dude the dude who made his own system and he filled it with barbecue propane.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Think he's still alive?
But with that, he is. But with that that video, when I was ending that, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with the refrigerator. I ended up making it my garage refrigerator. I put it all back together, right, and everything. But I wanted to blow it up. That was something I wanted to do because I was making a lot of R290 videos, and I was like,
California.
Take that out to the desert and fucking show people what happens when I was just gonna take it in the back of my shop actually and just light it and see what happened.
Call you a terrorist and kick you out of the state.
They probably would, but my neighbors, we became a city now. We used to be county. We used to be unincorporated county here, and now we're an actual city. And so the rules are a little different now. You could get away with stuff. Sheriffs never showed up back then.
So I got a follow-up question.
Go for it.
What's that,
Chris? That when you're talking about the terminal, so that's how a terminal actually blows, is by loose connection overheating.
That is my assumption. Assumption. It's never been proven. That's just how my head processes how a terminal vent can happen. Because think about it, a terminal vent can't happen from the inside. Because the odds of you having the proper mixture for combustion.
There's acid inside the system that
acid could do it. Yes, that is true actually. So you know what? You're right.
Well, or whatever.
Yeah. So my when I was talking about the terminal vent happening from the relay overheating and causing that's my assumption because I've seen that and assumed that's how that's happened. So
I one time had to work on an explosion proofed, I don't know what to call it, like a freezer that was in this. It was at DTE, and in one of their testing laboratories, they had an R290 or a propane cooler of some sort, and the whole thing was like built to withstand an explosion from the inside. Like they had the compressor, but around the compressor, they had this like cast iron case built, and all the lines that was encased. Like It was nuts. I didn't know what it was at first until the science guy came over and explained it to me.
I remember working at the hospital, and when I used to work for a hospital around here, but they used to give me PM work orders because they couldn't get to them, so they just send us a fucking stack of PM work orders. And so we're going through and we're working in the laboratory where they do all kinds of shit, and they're like, you need to PM this refrigerator, but like we need to talk about safety before. And they made me go through, it was a radioactive unit, so they made me like go through like the steps of what not to do, what to do, because they would mix the chemotherapy shit and store it in there, so it was like a fucking iron thing or whatever. It supposedly was decontaminated when I worked on it, but yeah, I used to have to work on their chemotherapy flume hoods where they would mix the chemotherapy, and then they'd want you to go up there and work on the exhaust fan, and they'd say, no, it runs through HEPA filters, everything's perfectly safe to work up there. But whenever you would go up there, you would notice that the fucking belts on the exhaust fan would only last weeks, and I'm like, bullshit, this is safe.
Yeah, that's
no.
The guy decontaminating that is probably the lowest paid guy in the whole place. Like,
yeah.
Watching TikTok and spraying his whatever. Like, I'm doing it, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, but those refrigerators were like iron, fucking lined and stuff, and they'd be this big refrigerator, this big giant thing, maybe 48 inches. But then the space that they would store inside was much smaller. It would be like a cube, and it was lined with shit all around it. Yeah.
Would a Geiger counter work for that?
I don't know. I trusted that they said it was safe. So
you can't trust people.
It's probably why my left testicle fell off.
Skinny now.
So, yeah, I am skinny to say the least. Yeah. No, I wish I was skinny, bro.
All that involuntary chemo treatment you're getting.
Dude, this was 15 years ago. I kind of miss doing that hospital work. Although what I don't miss about the hospital work was the stress that I had. It stressed me the fuck out. Because we'd work on like really complex stuff, and having to send my guys out to go do complex shit always worried me because it had to be perfect with the hospital. They accepted no bullshit. So we had a guy. Oh, I can talk about this now. We had a guy years ago. One of the reasons, not the reason, but one of the reasons why we lost that hospital customer was one of my previous employees. He was lighting his torch and it was fucking leaking. And apparently he didn't know. And so he was brazing, right? He has an oxyacetylene kit, and he was brazing, and the fucking hose at the tank caught on fire and started spewing fucking flames out, right? I wasn't there.
He
started spewing flames out. No, and he was just fucking right? And so then the fucking and he's in a hospital engineering lab, right? So then the fucking engineer guys come over and they're like, what the fuck? And they're like getting his attention. They get fire extinguishers. They fucking put it all out. And then I get a phone call from the fucking hospital. He's like, hey man, this is like the main engineer. He's like, I just want you to know that we had an incident. Everything's okay, but we had an incident. There was a fire, your employee, like all this shit. And I was like, what? I heard about it from the hospital before my employee. Like, what the fuck, dude? That was one of the, man. Yeah, that sucked.
Ted is not happy that you keep dropping F-bombs.
Sorry. I haven't been here for like a couple months. So
he's trying to get them all out right now.
Forgive us, Ted.
Guys.
This is what happens when Chris doesn't do a live stream in 7 months.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that. You weren't here already, but
got all this pent up energy.
I love it.
Dude, I have so many stories I can tell.
Me too. I got
now that said employees long gone. Yeah, I can vaguely tell these stories.
Firecock story you got? You know, like
yeah.
Oh, sweet. Because
Joe's got a story locked and loaded right now.
Oh yeah, we could do that one. Get out of the way. Just change of pace here for a minute.
Yeah,
little scenario here. Let me post it up here. You guys could watch it. What would you do? Got this system here, boiler system. Came here for a boiler call. That's fixed. Restarted this system. Screen was jammed. Check the system. Put it back on. Click on not one, but 2 lower motors. And you guys know these are expensive.
Why?
There you go. So I was there for a boiler call, and whatever, it was something easy. I'm not gonna say on here just in case whoever was watching, but I go to customers with me, and I'm like, "Oh, the system's been running good so far, right?" We're talking about it. I go, "Oh, the screen's jammed. I want to check the parameters, check what's going on. You know, see the evaporating leaving air temp, discharge temp, just little things, right? It's jammed. and there's not really any other way to turn off the system. The fuse panel is right there, so I turn it off. Put it back on. I'm not hearing anything. Oh my god! All of a sudden I traced it back. Fuse is tripped on the upper unit. So I'm like, oh my god! I throw out this blower. So I go grab a blower, dude. Well, I didn't go grab it. Sorry, I ordered it. Ordered a blower. Like 3 days later, it comes in. I put it in, dude. I put it on. I'm like, the lower one's fucked too. Open. I'm like, oh my! I killed both of these motors on a startup. So I killed a fuse is gone.
You only ordered one.
And I only ordered one. I didn't check the second one that first time.
Hey, that's called small picture, Joe.
Yeah.
Yes, sure, fine. That's fine because the upper unit fuses went. But besides the point, I wouldn't care. But 2 fucking blower motors that are $4,000 each.
Damn, your
on
cost.
a startup.
Yeah, you warranted them. I know you warranted them.
I'll tell you what I did. What would you guys do?
I would have charged the customer and then warranted them.
Blame the electrician.
How do you even fucking warranty them? The unit's 3-4 years old.
Blame the
Oh, you
tariffs.
said it was just on startup.
Sorry? It wasn't a startup, dude.
That's what you just said. Didn't he just say it was a startup?
Yeah, you blew
No,
it
I
up on
started the unit up.
Yeah, it's a startup. You started it
No,
up.
I just started up. Like after I shut it down, I started it.
So how did you justify it? I mean, especially the second time, we're like, hey, by the way, I didn't notice the one down here is fucked too.
Well, thank God he was with me when the screen was jammed, and I told him, I gotta shut he see me shut the system down, and then he left. So when I talked to him, like, listen, putting that thing back on, I took out both these motors, and I feel bad about it, but I'll take care of you. I'll give you the motors at my cost, and I'll really help you on the labor as well at the time. So that's what I did. I ended up doing. I gave him cost price. I show him my receipts on my end.
But was it really your fault though? Like, I don't understand how it was your
It's
fault.
not. And listen, honestly, this is my customer.
He's
These are the things you gotta think about too. I'm just starting my fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
If I was well in depth into my business, I would probably like, fuck it, it's mechanical. It's your fault. It's not my fault. You gotta pay. No matter. But now the situation I'm in, I'm like, all right, I'll eat it, my cost, and I'll take out like more than half the labor.
Potentially, he just gained that customer for a really long time because he owned up to something that was borderline not his problem.
Yeah.
It's a marketing thing. It's a respect thing, so.
Yeah.
But the motors were spinning when Joe turned off the switch.
Yeah.
So
there's no other way to shut them off.
There was clearly something already there, though. I mean, that really had nothing to do with you.
Between the windings too. Like, between the windings.
What caused the motors to die? Do you know?
No, I wish I did.
What killed them? No,
because listen, check this out. The city they're in, they have power failures, and the phase monitor. I checked it, so this is how I was trying when I was diagnosing it.
There goes another motor.
You can use the phase monitor obviously as your tool to see if it comes on. You can use different things to diagnose. Anyways, long story short, phase monitor is there, and it still happened. Phase monitor is not going to do nothing if it's on the other side, right? Anyways, but they have power failures. Nothing happened. Now I go restart the unit. This happens.
Did you just turn it off and let it sit, or did you do one of these?
No.
You did one of these back and forth,
yeah,
a couple times. Doing Jimmy fingers on it.
Refresh my memory. What does bum dumpling stand for?
It's a bum dumpling.
It's a bum dumpling. Yeah,
it's a turd.
That's the word that you came up with.
I don't know if I ever put that together. I don't think I've ever known that. I never understood what the fuck that word meant.
It's a fancy word for a turd. That's it.
Yeah,
I just call it shit. I just shit myself.
It's a bum dumpling.
Let me see what Clive is saying here. Motors that run 24/7 can be on the edge of failure, and when turned off and they cool,
that's a good explanation.
And change tolerance, the damaged insulation could fail completely. That's for sure. That I was trying to think in my head.
You were not thinking that. You were not thinking that.
Well, between the two windings, right? So,
well, there could be a lot of different stuff that happened there. Things could have happened with the drive. The module that's driving the motor, and it could have not done a break or something, and then restart it. Like, there's all kinds of stuff. But like, I don't know that I would have done the same thing as you did, Joe. But at the same time, we have done stuff like that in the past.
Yeah. I bet
that was questionably our problem. We were like, well, like for instance, one time we the first time I was installing a walk-in freezer door, you have to walk in through the walk-in cooler to get into the freezer, right? So I worked in the freezer all day long with my senior mechanic. I had just started doing this at the time. And we forgot to turn the walk-in cooler back on because we had turned it off because we were freezing our asses off while we were doing the freezer door. So we forgot to turn it back on. We went home, right? We did the job. We finished the freezer door. Everything was good. Freezer's running. We're out. We forgot to turn the walk-in cooler on. So they called us the next morning and we're like, my walk-in's at 65 degrees. What happened? And we're like, I don't know. And they said the disconnect was off right outside. You left it off. And they turned it back on. Then they came to me and said, you got to pay for $15,000 worth of food. Right. And we said, well, wait a minute. Okay. This is where it was questionable. Yes, we left it off, but show me your logbooks where you were checking temperatures because you're supposed to be checking temperatures throughout your shift. So if you're not checking temperatures, this is partially our fault. And we split the cost with them. We paid for $7,500. We gave them a $7,500 credit. They paid for half of it too, you know, because we're like, we're both at fault here.
That's why you clip your car keys onto the disconnect when you turn it off.
Yeah, I've heard people do that.
That's a good thing. Yeah, this particular disconnects on their back dock though, where the public can get to. So fuck that. I'm not leaving my shit back there.
The other thing, probably sold the food anyway.
Yeah,
right. Possibly. No, I actually helped them fill the dumpster, but I have many other restaurants that their walk-ins were at 60 degrees.
Chinese places,
90% of the time, they just fucking turn it back on.
You got to do what feels right and fair, but also got to be careful to not always default to taking the blame.
Exactly.
You know, if it's a rooftop too, and I've been there too, you could kind of, there's more getting away with the rooftop areas a lot of times. You and I know, especially if you have tons, but in a residential setting, sorry?
What are we getting away with?
Well,
if something happens,
or something happens, or if you hit a coil, or you know,
well, he's not saying do something wrong. Like you're gonna make it right all the time, but like it's easier to not feel bad about a situation like Joe's talking about, where it probably wasn't his fault, but he felt guilty because he turned on the switch.
Yeah, dude, I was just talking to the guy. Sorry, I was just telling him. I was like, wow, because I'm the one who put that in. I'm like, holy shit, this thing, you know. He knows it too. Like these things are finicky. Things go, parts go. But I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard anything. Nothing's changed. This thing's been running. And what do you know? As soon as we're talking about it, I go fucking do that. It's jammed. And anyways, that's fucked up.
What kind of contract must you have to be liable for something if you can't fix it? Don't they have backup coolers or any other way to deal with it?
I mean, I probably wouldn't be doing this kind of work. I would have to raise my prices significantly if I was going to work for a customer that made me sign a contract like that, because you're basically committing to a 2-hour response time.
Nuts, man.
You know,
or is there insurance for this?
Yeah.
You know what though?
Insurance.
So or the restaurant will have insurance to cover it.
Interesting thing though is that at certain restaurants self-insure, which is wild. I happen to work for a restaurant that self-insures.
Sure, makes sense.
And that one that the air conditioners were stolen during COVID, and they had like 5 units stolen off the roof, or they scrapped all the copper for the drain lines and busted the units and broke the roof and all that shit. When they did that, I ended up talking to the restaurant facility manager because we had to change 5 units like 911. And I talked to him and I'm like, so what does insurance pay for this? And he's like, oh no, dude, we self-insure. We've got the money in the bank. We just don't pay for insurance. They bank it and save the money on some things. Now, some things they have insurance for, but that's kind of crazy though. Some restaurants, some places don't.
It still seems wild to be a company be like, you know what, we'll be liable for your food if we can't fix it.
I'm 100% sure that his company has the insurance for that, because I'm
Hey,
pretty sure I know which company you work for, Freon, and I'm pretty sure they're a PE company, I think, aren't they? So they're super smart about the insurance crap.
Education company. Before we get sidetracked, I need your guys' opinion on something. I was at a new customer recently, a very large customer, and we were doing I had like 15 rooftop units they wanted me to go through. 2 of these units had almost the exact same problem. They're big, giant carrier units, 6 condensing fan motors. And let's just say, for the sake of the story, that these 2 rooftop units had basically the same problem. 3 fans were shorted out. 3 condensing fans were shorted out. And upon further investigation, 2 of those fans have the wrong capacitor, and one of them still has the right capacitor, but it's also shorted out. And then one of those motors that are working, one of the 3 motors that is still working, has the wrong capacitor attached to it. So given that situation, 3 fans are burned out. 2 of the fans that are burned out have the wrong capacitor. 1 fan that's burned out doesn't. 1 fan that is currently working does have the wrong capacitor still on it, and they're about 5 years old. I want to change out all six condensing fan motors, blades, capacitors, the whole 9 yards. What do you guys think?
You're trying to give them that crisp big picture.
And the way I explain it to the customer is like, listen, I don't want, because you'll have two good motors left, because the one that's still running has a bad capacitor. It has not a bad capacitor, but it has a smaller capacitor. It's rated for a 10. It's got a 7.5 on it. I'm like, it's not the right capacitor for that motor.
No.
So that motor has suffered some sort of strain and some sort of damage. So at the very minimum, you need 4 motors. Those other 2 motors, they're 5 years old.
Yeah.
They're just as old as the other motors. And I was like, you really want to risk those compressors, anything else that could be damaged if those 2 condensing fan motors die. Let's say we get 4 brand new motors in there. And yeah, they're expensive. We get 4 new motors in there. These other 2 take a crap. Now we're back here at square one, doing the same thing we're doing now.
Yeah, I'd probably do like Hausch says and give him an option. And I've done stuff like that. It depends though too. Like I've done it in situations where it's 2.5 hours out into the Mojave Desert, this customer. And it's like, when I'm there, we're not playing around. And like, I've told them too, you're not calling me out here on a $500 not to exceed. They know I'm driving 2.5 hours to get to them. So we're going to fix it, And so, if we have condenser fan motors, those things fail at the most within 2 years because of the heat and the strain that they're in. So if I come up on one where it's like, this is original, it's 4 years old, it's gone, dude. We need to change that. If we're working on the unit, like we need to get this thing up and running and be done with it.
Yeah.
But
I feel better now.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, it just depends, but yeah. Like Jason's saying, if the unit had like line reactors or a choke, Joe, it would potentially protect the drive from basically, going or ruining the motor or something like that, if that's the case, or the motor.
Yeah, but they're built-in inverters, so I don't think it has whatever.
It's got to have something. I don't know. Yeah, but still, I know what you're talking about. That sucks. That's one thing that worries me. You guys seen the I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they have these new fancy lower cost DOAS units coming out onto the market, right?
Way.
Dedicated outdoor air systems.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say low cost, but they're just more they're more obtainable. Captive Air's made a lot of innovation. There's a couple other companies doing them too. And they're making them smaller and smaller where you can use them in restaurant applications and stuff.
Do they temper the air?
Yeah, they temper, but they can also cool it depending on how they're designed, dude. You can run 100% outside air and they can, what you consider tempering, which is just kind of dropping it, 15 degrees or something like that, slowly over time. But anyways, yeah, the technology though.
Yeah, I just ran into some energy recovery units that I didn't have to work on them, but they were on the same roof and I just kind of poking around on them. And at some point in time, I'm going to have to work on them. And I've never worked on them before. We're
all going to have to work on them, but the technology is changing, man. We're going to have to work on a lot new stuff. And I still got to go back to that
spaceship unit.
That spaceship unit. I still got to go back and deal with that.
Get any additional information that's like,
basically, so I put out a video talking about a train variable speed. So to recap, this is a train package unit, 17.5 tons. It has, and this is for a restaurant. Okay. It has variable speed evaporator fan motor, variable speed inducer motor, variable gas valve, variable speed compressor number 3, 2 variable speed condenser fan motors. Everything's fucking variable speed. It's all dehumidification. They call it an E-Flex unit. And it's a fucking nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. And anyways, I tried to push it off on train again. And the customer's like, no, we're not having train out here again. Figure it out. And I'm like, all right, there's only like 2 more things I could check. I made a video, asked a bunch of people the fucking comments on that. There must be like 400 comments.
483.
Yeah. And but anyways, basically I've checked almost everything except for I haven't checked the outside air sensor. And I've heard all kinds of different ideas on what it is. Most of the logical explanations are from train techs or former train techs, that basically reach out to me. And they've given me their advice, but to say the least, this unit is a problem for train. That's just, the train guys are like, oh, it's one of those.
What are the
and mine's not even, Mine's not even the complicated one. This is like when I said this is an E-Flex, it's technically an E-Flex, but it's like almost the smallest model they make.
This isn't the complicated one.
No.
I actually watched that video and it looks like the complicated one.
Yeah. And so anyways, I'm illiterate with Train. Okay. So I'm ignorant to how to work on them. I have basic understandings. I'm just a half-ass tech on that. Right. But basically it has to do with potentially how the compressor is driven, like how fast it's being said to go or whatever. So the easy things that I haven't checked was the outside air sensor, because that could technically be affecting it, because this is a dumb inverter system too. Oh, yeah. This is a variable speed system that is controlled off of just the outside air temperature. That's
not
it.
Head pressure. Like it's not ramping the condensing fan motor.
It doesn't have pressure transducers. It slows down the condenser fan motor from an algorithm based on outdoor conditions and looks at compressor stuff. But basically it doesn't use pressure transducers. It doesn't know what the pressure is. It's just using temperature sensors, and it's stupid. It's really dumb. Yeah. It's the inverter board. Okay. So here's the thing. This is a inverter that's refrigerant cooled that is a problem for Train. Okay. It is an issue. It's a known thing that they have. They fail. The heat sink, on the back, the paste goes back. Like there's so many different things. And it's like, where the fuck do you start with this? Train, they have another one of these units at the restaurant. Is that for Ted? They have another one of these units that Train came out.
I'm a little late on hitting the button though.
Yeah. Last year I called Train and had them, they came out on the other unit that I didn't make a video on, and Train threw the parts cannon at it. They put a variable speed compressor. They put over $10,000 worth of shit and it didn't work. It's still fucking the same problem. Both these units are doing it now. Fuck.
So are you going to go in and do that same fucking problem? Are you going to do the same fucking thing?
Fuck no, I'm not doing that shit.
I wouldn't fucking do that. This sounds
stupid. But anyways, I'm going to go try a few things, and then I'm going to just get them to let me sell them some Lennox core units, put curb adapters up there, and at least for the 2. I wish they'll do 3, but guarantee they won't do 3. They'll do 2. They'll have to do 2. Because we just need to get rid of those units. It sounds fun, but the thing is that location is an hour and a half from my shop, an hour to an hour and a half. And when I go to something like that, I know that I could figure it out after I change enough parts, right? Throwing shit at it, I could figure it out. But when I do that, I spend a day away from my business.
Of course,
I'm fucking out in the boonies, you know, and I'm trying to focus. So, nah.
Probably if you like Alex saying, like, I've done this before, tricking it, just adding resistors to fake the temperature.
Yeah, that's assuming. Well, the thing is that it could be the outdoor air sensor. I don't think it is, but it could be. But I think it's going to be more complex. I think it's a cascading problem. I think that
in the VFG, you think it's just the programming or something that's driving the compressor all the way up when it shouldn't be?
Well, some ideas that I've heard, not going to confirm who I heard these ideas from, is the thermal paste actually melts on the back of the refrigerant cooled inverter drive. It actually just like disintegrates from being overheated too long, because the drives just generally, the way that they're designed, they overheat significantly when the outdoor air temperatures rise above 100 degrees. That's kind of the consensus of what happens with these inverters. And so then does the inverter start to damage the compressor? I think that if my hunch is that there's a small 6x6 circuit board in the control cabinet that controls the operation of the entire inverter. This is not a traditional inverter with a screen. It's a bunch of circuit boards ran by some weird ass Chinese inverter board. So I think the board has something to do with it, because the board controls all the condenser fan motors too. And there's been times when it's in test mode that I started up and the condenser fan motors don't start, and that's the board. So I kind of suspect that it has something to do with that board that's messing things up. But I think the board damages the unit though, and damages the inverter, and melts the thermal paste off the back and causes issues.
But at least your customer has all that extra money that they saved from the energy used to pay to fix it.
Right.
There's some solace in knowing that.
I've been told, Jason, I've been told that there is a special tool that is within Train, that there's only so many of them, and they travel from office to office that you use to analyze this inverter. And that is the only tool. And it's not for sale. That's what I've heard too, to analyze the inverter data.
Oh my god! It's such.
I mean, I'm sure with enough money you
tool.
can get stuff.
In
But
secrets, are you really gonna like start getting into the software and like
no,
download this?
no, I'm gonna go out there and check a sensor and then kick it and say, yeah, it's done.
You're gonna
No.
sell them a $30,000 unit, and then or whatever it is, $40,000 unit, and all it is like a $50 outdoor air sensor.
Yeah, something like that. No, I'm gonna go, do my best to check what I can. But honestly, Train gatekeeps their stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, their build quality is on point, but the way that they gatekeep their information is
Dumb.
Stupid.
It's fucking retarded.
It's
See, I was gonna hold it back at him.
Ding. Yeah. See you holding it up and he's still feeling.
We just got because I convinced my boss to buy the little dongler thing, the little dongle to plug into some of these carrier units. So I got a laptop and a dongle and the software to talk to these carrier units because we were having comm issues at this one place that I can't tell you at, but it starts with an A and ends with an N, and we can't get these things to come back on and communicate. Even unplug it, plug it back in, all the fun stuff. We swapped the RTU open boards, which is the board that the BMS communicates with. We swapped them with units, and the problem's not following it. But all that to say, like, that's pretty neat. Like, I have no idea really what I'm doing, but I figured out that they're all daisy chained, all these rooftop units.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to my apprentice who's not watching anyway, but he was right there helping me do all of this stuff. He was actually the one typing and doing all this stuff with his fingers. But you can log into one rooftop unit and you can control everything on the hub. So you connect to one rooftop unit and you can see like 25. Yeah, like 25 of them all over the roof. I think that's fucking wild, man. The controls side of things is nuts sometimes.
It is. It's pretty cool.
So back to what we started to talk about, then we totally went on a tangent. So you guys legitimately would be willing to lose your fingers for $77 million?
I'd do it. I'd cut them off for $15 million. I'd cut them off with a butter knife.
What'd you say? You said, what'd you say in the chat, Adam?
Give me $1 million. I will chop my pinky finger off with a wood chisel right now.
For $1 million bucks,
Yeah,
fuck
that's what he
that.
said.
I would
That's
do
what he
that,
said.
bro. One finger, but not lose my fingers like
What would
this
you
or
do?
whatever.
That's
Why?
that's after taxes is going to be $750,000 probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
pretty
I want a net 77 million.
No. Yeah, you want to be like, remember the movie Armageddon with like one of the last things when he's like, the last thing we need is we don't want to pay taxes. And then there's a pause and he says, ever. And just think about that. If you didn't have to pay taxes forever, like an agreement you made with the government because you blew up an asteroid.
You have to have a card and you go to the store and like, I don't pay taxes.
So speaking of blowing up asteroids, so I went to that Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, the interview show with my daughter. So the whole show, I didn't know this. So what it was Neil deGrasse Tyson goes to the movies. The whole time, all he was doing was debunking movies. It was actually really cool. He was talking about Armageddon and how stupid it was.
He was watching. Not the
he had like clips. He had like clips, and he would play clips, and he would use those to talk about how that was wrong, and then like interact with the audience. So it's pretty cool. He talked about movies the whole time, so I was kind of chilling in heaven.
You're going to need at least 2 fingers to hold your wiener and count your money.
Yep.
Wise words.
What are the best 2 fingers? Like these two?
Yeah, good point.
I pay somebody to hold my wiener, and then
that's another good point. Okay.
What was the line from Coming to America? Your royal penis is clean, Your Highness, as the girl comes out of the hot tub. Do you remember that from Coming to America, the movie?
As she comes up out of the water. Is that the one?
Yeah.
I remember that.
The same thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But I'm serious. If somebody put $1 million on the table right now, I'd be like, here's a wood chisel and a hammer and $1 million. No hesitation.
I'd do it.
Really?
No hesitation.
Oh my God.
I have insurance. I'll chop it off right now. I'll just go to the hospital and be like, hey, I don't care if you can sew it back on. I got $1 million.
Why is my computer not charging?
I mean, think like John Wick did it in that one movie, John Wick 2 or whatever. And he did it to get back into the assassination society or whatever he did. And then as soon as he got back in, he's like, yeah, fuck all you guys. And then he got back out. And like he chopped his finger off for basically no reason.
John Key said in the olden days, women in the I can't say that word, one day. So anyways, factories would run their fingers into the sewing machine just to get a day off.
Jeez, can you imagine? That was before unions and shit, right? When they were overworked and just fucking enslaved,
They were all
basically.
hysterical from their mammograms and their stuff.
Those were the days when they were telling you that smoking cigarettes was recommended by doctors, and the American Cancer Association said that cigarettes were good. Those were the days.
There was a watch company that was around here. It's like 20 minutes west of me years ago. And I can't remember what they were called, but I believe they were like radium watches or whatever. And they had women that would paint the watch faces so it would glow in the dark, but it was radioactive. And when they were painting it, they were trying to keep the brush nice and tight, so they'd always lick the brush. And then they paint it, lick the brush. So all these people got cancer, and they ended up dumping a bunch of the crap around.
Probably the shit they dumped in the place 2 miles from me.
Yeah,
probably.
So like when I was a kid, the government came in and they were digging up people's yards like 5 feet deep.
Yeah.
And they were paying us to come and remove their condensers, and they would dig up their yard, remove all the soil, bring in new soil, and then reinstall the condensers.
We have one of those toxic waste dump sites near us. It's like a government Superfund site, and the government, the military, and other places just basically paid this dude back in like the 30s or 40s to just dispose of this rocket fuel mixture shit. They just said, yeah, just get rid of it. Here's the money. Do it right. Dude just poured it in the ground 2 miles from my house. And it fucking leached down into the aquifer, killed a bunch of people in the 70s. And like they still deal with shit now.
I gotta at least dump it down a drain. I don't know if I just dump it right in the water.
Well, he didn't dump it in the water. It was like a it's called the, if you're interested, it's called the Stringfellow acid pits. If you Google it, it'll come up. But basically, he poured it into this pit that was porous, and it wept down into our aquifer, and we have wells all right here. So basically it seeped down into there and people were drinking it. They said that the kids, when it would rain and stuff, the runoff from this, there's a whole documentary on this, but the runoff, the kids would be outside playing in the rain and there'd be foamy shit on the side of the road. It was the fucking toxic shit. And the kids were like putting it on their faces, making beards and shit like kids do with soap bubbles.
Yeah. I got my stories mixed up. This is the rare earth facility in West Chicago. I don't think it was the watch thing. I think I probably watched a movie on that, but it was still radioactive. Involved radioactive thorium, radium, and uranium.
Uranium.
Wow.
Uranium. You know, did I tell you guys? Here, hold on.
Mercury thermostats. They buried them all in one pit.
You know what? When I was doing the restaurant thing, I would work on old fryers, and they had mercury contactors, and I would take the mercury contactors. So I had to upgrade them. I would take them out, and I would drill the mercury out. And I used to have a glass bottle that I put all the mercury in. I'd play with it.
I think I might have told this story before, but these are like collectible glasses that we used to have when I was a kid, and found them at my wife's grandma's house. She had a whole collection of them, and I loved them. They were like, because I had these when I was a kid, and they were awesome. So I took them from her grandma's house when we were cleaning the house out, and we took them and we used them to the point that there was nothing left on the cups. Like the paint wore off and everything. So for Christmas, my family got me another set because I was really bummed out. So now I have a brand new set of them. These are McDonald's cups. They used to give them at McDonald's. It was like a commemorative cup, and it had the Camp Snoopy characters on it.
Oh, that's cute.
Anyways, so after my family got me these, I was super stoked because I got a whole nother set. We could start using them again. My daughter looks them up, and it's all lead paint.
That's what Hamilton said, yeah.
It's all lead paint on these cups. Wow. And so I told you we wore them down. It. Yeah, drinking and wearing them down, fucking drinking them, dude. Yeah.
I don't know, like, isn't the paint on the outside of the cup?
It is, but you put your face. I mean, you know, but yeah,
I mean, it's rubbing off on your hands.
It's probably worse if it was on the inside, but yeah. Anyways, funny, like the shit we grew up with doing, you know, lead paint, like, all that crap.
Think about it. Like, what is that equivalent right now? Is it vapes? Like, what is the equivalent of that? Like in 20 years, you're like, can you believe people are fucking doing that?
I don't know. I mean, what's the risk of me holding these? I mean, like, you know, I don't know.
Well, isn't lead like just don't eat it? Period. Like,
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Don't put it in your butt.
Well, they stopped painting with lead now.
I take that as a challenge.
Yeah. How much lead can I put in my
genuinely, I want to know, like, okay, there's the joke about, your kid's dumb, he eats paint chips, right? And that was lead paint chips because kids would eat them. Who the fuck eats paint chips?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Salsa.
I mean, like, who the fuck eats? I can't fathom that. My kids never ate paint chips off the wall. They never had the intention of picking the fucking paint off the wall. I realize it's flaking off, but in eating it, like,
I don't not eat.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think it was really like a thing, or do you think it was like?
I think if your
one
parents
person
are brother and sister, you probably ate paint chips as a kid.
I think
Okay.
you just
Have you guys ever played with asbestos?
Oh,
No, I played with mercury, but not with asbestos.
Not knowingly.
I definitely did back when I was younger.
How?
Not like, oh, look, it's asbestos. Let me play with it. It was like you're working, it's on pipes. You're removing the ducts or whatever. You're cutting the freaking,
See,
Yeah.
No, I can't say that I've ever chewed on a windowsill, Hamilton.
you ever wonder why you're having all those problems, Hambone?
And he just said he was a chewer. He was one of those guys you see him on the walk. Click, mommy, putting everything in his fucking mouth.
You walked into that
Hamilton.
one, Hamilton. Dude, you walked right into that one, man.
He did just have a stroke. What was that, like 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah. I'm glad you are doing good, though, Hamilton. I see your post. Looks like you're trying to enjoy things, dude. So that's cool.
Now they have time off. Why not?
Gives you a scare. For sure. I could only imagine what his family went through. So
You guys give Randy Ravioli a shout out tonight?
no, we talked shit to him because he was here. Adams made a point of talking about how he was here super
He
early.
answered my question in one of his posts on Facebook. I was asking about how many strippers you can fit in a double wide. I don't think he answered
And
me.
what else did you say? That's like the meth capital of the world or something like that?
Something about cooking meth in the trailer park because he had started a fire or something. I don't remember. And but the thing was, I told him, I was like, stop cooking meth, Randy. And his mom laughed at it. She knows.
I'm always like, whenever I see your comments on that, I always wonder like what he thinks. Like some random freaking online dude is calling him.
Yeah.
Dude, like this goes through my head too. So like when you post that shit, because you posted that, right? And clearly his mom left him home, but there's people watching him, right? Everybody's watching him, like checking on him and stuff, right? So all these people are following him on Facebook, like thinking that they're having to look out, and yeah, they're seeing this. Like, what are their thoughts? Like,
And
who's
they're all
this
like-
fucking?
Posting
How many
like
times
double
have you been reported to Facebook people? Do you think?
enough.
If someone's calling the cops on Ty's dog, imagine how many people are fucking, who is this
Yeah.
guy? Is he
Yeah.
okay, Brandy?
Is he really
is he
cooking
safe?
meth? Like, I don't know.
Is your
look,
mic on, Joe?
Should be.
a little late in the
Tap
show.
on your
to be
mic.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's on.
Just not near your face.
Yeah,
Dude, guys, why don't we do this more often? This has
Do
been
what?
a good
show?
show.
It was a good show. Ask Adam that.
inconsistent.
There we go. Let's do it every Friday. Don't blame me.
Oh!
The fucking guy who never shows up to the chat except to post videos of whatever.
Funny stuff.
I mean,
You still never answered my
Perspective.
question. You
What was
posted
your
something
question?
in the chat,
What was
and
it?
then you never answered it. You literally pop in the chat and you said something about the hats being popular, and then you fucking bounced. And I'm like,
Oh.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's
then-
Adam.
That's
Right,
Adam.
guys? That's his famous thing.
I
Says something, and then he's gone.
yeah,
And then he comes
No,
back like
I said-
five messages
I
later
said-
and
yes.
answers like a random thing, and it doesn't
Yeah.
address fucking.
I just I noticed that like if you go on social media or just see people in general, I would say the two most popular hats are tactical and your hat, but your hat I think has tactical freaking
Yeah.
hands down.
It
'cause
should.
I don't think so.
cross. It's
Yeah.
a cross. Yeah, 100%. A tactical hat.
I wonder if I can tell how many hats I've sold. I don't even know. Never looked this up.
I'd crap in a tactical hat. To
I
save
wanna-
a bucket.
What is
I
everyone
love
in
the
the chat
tactical
saying? Do you
design.
think all right is tactical? I'm not talking about like what do you like more? I'm asking you, how many more hats have you seen on social media? Do you think you see tactical more often? Or do you think you see Chris's hat?
Although I will say, I only like Chris's hat in the dad cap version, the six
See, and
panel.
the funny thing is, I think we phased out dad caps.
Yeah, you did. That's why I don't support the brand anymore.
You know that I probably have a few dad caps, Bill.
You know my address.
I probably do.
Fuck yeah, bro. Send them. I'm
I'll
almost.
see if I can get one. I'll see if I can get one.
Can
In
you
my
get him a cowboy Doc Comfort?
A cowboy.
No, I do not make a cowboy style. I don't even know, dude. I don't think my hats
That
are
would
that
be
big
pretty.
of a deal.
Imagine that. Oh my god.
In a cowboy style.
Analytics. Let's see if it tells me products.
I had another good story, but I'm gonna save it for next show.
You're gonna forget.
Okay.
I forget what
No, I haven't forgotten since 4 weeks ago when I wanted to even share it with you guys. I didn't share it with you guys, so I wanted to save it for the show. And,
Okay,
I'll still save
so in the so I think this is based in a month. So how many hats do you think I sold? Hold on.
I bet it was more than overtime hats.
For the month
Well,
of wait, no, I'm
Pick
trying to
a month.
understand.
They just pick them up.
Month. Oh no, that's month to date. Let me hit month.
it. Okay,
Year to
probably-
date. We'll just do
Year.
year to date. There you
Yeah.
go. That's even easier. So
Year to
let's see if
date.
it.
Just dragging this out.
How many hats do you think I've sold in the last year?
Year?
Last year,
100.
no, 242.
It's 154. It's not that many. So
That's pretty good. I bet it's more than tactical. Let's call him.
the previous year, nah.
I'll call him. I'll get him on the phone right now.
I
Go
don't
for
want
it.
to talk
He
about
would make
hats.
up some sort of number. He would either make up some sort of number, or he would give you an award for selling the most hats.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you're
I don't
good.
sell. I genuinely don't sell that many hats. I don't. But see, here's the thing, guys. I don't push my merch. I say it in my videos. You have to watch my video to the end of my video. Very rarely do I talk about merch in the beginning of the video. It's only usually at the end. So
I didn't even know
I'm not-
HVAC school had a hat.
yeah, they do. They have nice hats.
I
I
was
just
just
wish they had
wondering
black
your name more.
underbill.
I mean, I guess the one and only hat that I saw of HVAC school, it seemed like it was made out of cement. It was very hard, very rigid, not really built for comfort. But
I wish that I could find.
4 years ago.
I've been trying to find this hat manufacturer in the United States that makes a similar hat, but I haven't been able to find it.
Like a wicking material or a lighter material.
I just don't like the ones that it's weird. There's hats that are like a weird fabric and they just have like pinholes poked in them. I don't like those ones. This hat is it's hard to tell, but if you look at it in the light, you can see light through it. It's breathable in that way. So I wish I could find this American for sure.
Doc says he could fix that, Bill, about that hat being heavy, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. Want to wrap it?
Yeah, let me undo Ray. Hey, Ray, your message, because YouTube is so, you know what I mean? What the fuck is HVAC OT fucking hat? Hey, man. I'm
We don't have
glad it
any.
muted that one out.
Wait.